the devos in the last couple of days. And,
really?
Yeah, about the yesing and the knowing, and people picked up different things.
I looked and I didn't see any comments.
Yeah, maybe check again. All right. Ready? Did you have a coffee yet? A cold coffee?
No, I had a hot coffee.
Ooh, hot coffee day.
Thankfully,
Do
I had.
it depending on the weather?
No. What I feel like.
Or just more
Oh,
of a
maybe.
mood.
Maybe. I woke up and it was kind of gloomy outside and I was like, oh, hot coffee. I would put the dogs out and then it's not like crazy hot outside. So then I'm like.
Do you ever have hot coffee in winter?
Okay, but,
I mean, cold coffee in winter?
no.
Or is cold coffee a new thing?
No, I never want. I never. I was never making cold coffee at home anyway because we didn't have an espresso machine.
No, but you drink. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but Starbucks.
Did I ever order a cold coffee out in the winter? No.
Okay.
No. Do you want to hear what happened outside?
I want to hear what happened outside. When outside?
Just
How's our kayak boarding? We went kayak yesterday.
I'm fine.
We went kayaking yesterday.
Yeah. Are you sore? I'm not.
Not as sore as I thought I'd be. It was a good core workout.
So I had my books on one table, my coffee on the other table, the dog on a leash outside. I heard the neighbor go outside. No big deal. Whatever. He's on a leash. He's kind of looking, but he's laying. He's chill. And then he winds up.
Buddy.
And I had just finished my coffee and with my nice mug. And so I tried to grab the table and get it out of the way of the leash. Anyway, there was a squirrel.
He chased a little squirrel?
He chased a squirrel. He's feeling better,
he
guys.
would chase a squirrel to hug it or lick it. Not to...
He's feeling better.
No harm to that squirrel.
My
We got our block on. We're sledding.
Thankfully, we have our carpet down on our driveway, on our little sitting area that our son makes fun of.
We have our trailer park.
So my coffee mug bounced.
Oh. Praise the Lord. Right on. Good story. All right. Asking for what we need. Decide what it is you want and need. Then go to the person you need it from and ask for it. Sometimes it takes hard work and much energy to get what we want and need. We have to go through the pains of identifying what we want, then struggle to believe that we deserve it. Then we may have to experience the disappointment of asking someone, having the person refuse us, and figuring out what to do next. Sometimes in life, getting what we want and need is not so difficult. Sometimes all we need to do is ask. We can go to another person, our higher power, and ask for what we need. But because of how difficult it can be at times, we can get what we want and need. To get what we want and need, we may get trapped in the mindset of believing it will always be that difficult. Sometimes, not wanting to go through the hassle, dreading the struggle, or out of fear, we may make getting what we want and need much more difficult than it needs to be. We may get angry before we ask, deciding that we'll never get what we want, or anticipating the fight we'll have to endure. By the time we talk to someone about what we want, we may be so angry that we're demanding, not asking. Thus, our anger triggers a power play that didn't exist except in our mind. Or we may get so worked up that we don't ask, or we waste far more energy than necessary fighting with ourselves, only to find out that the person or our higher power is happy to give us what we want. Sometimes we have to fight and work and wait for what we want and need. Sometimes we can get it just by asking or stating that this is what we want. Ask. If the answer is no or not what we want, then we can decide what to do next. No means no. Here's our prayer for today. Today, I will not set up a difficult situation that does not exist with other people or my higher power about getting what I want and need. If there is something I need from someone, I will ask first before I struggle. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. We have a great higher power, a good higher power. His name is Jesus, and he has good for us. And sometimes the struggle is what we need. He knows us what we need better than what we need. And why were you giggling a little while ago?
Why'd you close it?
Oh,
you don't want to talk about it?
No, I thought we were talking about it. What were you?
I was like giggling because this sounded so familiar to me. We may get angry before we ask, deciding that we'll never get what we want, or anticipate the fight we'll have to endure. By the time we talk to someone about what we want, we may be so angry that we're demanding, not asking, and then we can't figure out what the other person's problem is, and it just proves our point. See,
It does. Yeah.
They're so mean, or they're so controlling, or they're so whatever. And
well, I always say, if you were asking a question and are struggling to hear the word no, you weren't asking, you were demanding.
No. Here, what this is saying is that, so the person works it so much in their head that they've already heard a no, and so they come in with a negative attitude, and then it's a fight before it even started. So
does that happen to you?
it really resonated. Like I was like, oh, I don't think it happens anymore, but I can remember like in the early years of recovery. Like one example is China. I remember when my mom first asked if I wanted to go to China with her, I was like, oh, John would never let me. And then thinking, wow. Right? And then thinking in my head, like, I'm an adult, like with a full-time job. How could he not let me? And then financially, I was like, well, financially, we could never afford that. And it wouldn't be a priority for us, which is how we do our finances. And then I just kind of, but then we had done like that couples thing where they talked about like what both of our strengths are. And so you have a very different top personality or top strength than I do, and I have a very different top strength than you do. We interact with people very differently.
And then our seconds are the same.
But our second, which is very analytical. Do you remember what else?
I don't.
I just remember that it was very analytical.
But we're so compatible.
And so that the most effective way for us to communicate with each other is to make a list and look at all the pros and cons, put all the numbers down, make 3 options, and discuss it together. And so when we did that, when we discovered that, it like changed lots. And so I remember doing that with China.
I feel like you do that a lot. I never do it.
I do it all the time.
I must never ask for anything. Huh. I'm so content.
No, you just do. You ask after.
But
remember?
Hey,
can I borrow your pen?
Yeah. There's
it's
different personalities. There's people that ask for the pen,
right,
that reach for the pen while asking, or just grab the pen, or don't grab a pen and
hey, do you mind if I use your pen?
Or just don't grab the pen and just look at it going, I wish I had that pen, and don't ask. That's a perfect example of this whole devotional.
Would have been me of like, oh, that's a really nice
grabbed
pen.
The pen.
It's his favorite pen, though. He would never let me use it. And so I just won't even ask him, why does he get such a nice pen and I don't even have a pen? I've never asked for a pen. That was my whole, poor me, I don't even have a pen. That was my whole, like, victim, like, persona. Yeah. And so then I remember with China, I was like, okay, this is how much.
If I had a pen, I would just give them a pen. Yeah. My other point was that running a rehab center, I get asked stuff all the time. And so throughout a day, I might get 500 asks, and often the answer is no.
Yeah.
And there would be people that would freak out. I've been one of those people that freak out. What I was saying was, when I'm asking and I can't hear a no, then I was never asking, I was demanding. But
I don't entirely...
It's just another point.
I don't entirely agree with that, though, because... So, for example, it's not that I can't hear a no, but if we discuss something as a couple and I'm really disappointed because you're like, no, we're not doing that. Like, that's not a priority for us. And then I'm like, no, John, I really think we should. And we discuss it. If I'm disappointed and I want to revisit it again, it doesn't mean I was never asking. I was demanding. It means that
or it could be.
We're 2 adults and I have a different opinion or point of view. If I throw a tantrum and I, refuse to speak to you for 3 days, that's what I'm referring to. Then that's a different scenario. But just because I'm disappointed or I continue to disagree with you doesn't mean that I'm demanding. how I disagree with it. I understand in the context.
Or does it?
Well,
Maybe it does.
no, I don't think it does. Like, I can be an adult with my own mind and decide that actually this is something that I really need. If I've like thought about it and prayed about it and whatever, sure, I can have a good attitude about it if we disagree.
Mm-hmm.
But just because someone, I mean, I think it's when you're talking about two adults with equal.
So I'm like
with
literally
equal,
talking about I'm on the buddy system at rehab.
so
and
very different. We are talking about two adults with equal power structure, right? I'm not talking about when you're in a treatment program and you're in authority over someone. Like, if it's very different, me going to my boss to ask for something than me going to my husband.
Okay, so it's just like me asking God, and if God says no, I don't take a hissy fit. So
100%.
I'm talking about,
100%.
am I demanding or am I asking a question?
100%. I
And
was
so
thinking of us because we're doing a couples devotion.
All right. We can talk about that later. Let's go and do breakfast.
Let's do it.
Buddy! Look at Buddy.
She agrees though, right? She said, like, if the answer is no, or not what we want, then we need to decide what to do next. And that's what a grown-up does. You don't throw a hissy fit.
I've seen lots of hissy.
Sure
I've thrown a hissy fit here and there. I get the answer no, and I'm like, I don't like that, or just go do it anyway. And then I...
like when I'm going out with my friends and you want to come?
No.
And you just come anyway?